burnt sienna or burnt umbers. Sometimes you need them, but, you know, only use them if you need them. Remember how one little push pushes the color around, okay? In the low part right here, you actually have this shade, and then on the inside you have this shade. And then you're ready for your lighter tones. Remember, go dark and then go light. And then if you need any medium, you can go in there with that. Here's the light color. I'm gonna
Sean, that's what I did wrong with Boyd. I used burnt sienna.
a lot. You know.
So you gotta fix it.
Okay, we will. Then
So
you,
I'm gonna ask a question
sure,
about
love
that.
for you too.
So, but when we were doing the eyes, we were using the burnt sienna, that eyeliner color, right? And so when you're talking about not using the burnt sienna, you're talking about when you put your flesh colors together.
Yes.
Okay.
For instance, I've been able to make this clean, beautiful, fleshy color over here. What happens if you use the yellow and the orange, and then you go into, I'm gonna get enough on my brush so I can make it clear what I'm trying to say. All right, here you've got this beautiful, clean, fleshy color. And I have a little bit of blue in it to make it go natural. If I start coming over here and adding another color to it, that's when the cloudiness happens. So if you're gonna use burnt sienna, use it with a little bit of white in it to do like an age spot kind of thing. They're great for age spots, because that's pretty much, that's just about dead on to what it is, okay? But don't try to bring it in here. I mean, you can just see the cloudiness on it. And that's what happens a good bit. So stay over here in the colors that are basic for making your flesh tones. White with anything is going to go cloudy. We talked a little bit about whites for some people yesterday, and some of you may not have heard it when we first got started. I originally had two whites out here on my palette. I had a zinc white and a titanium white. The titanium is the one that is very opaque and heavy. And if you put titanium white on anything, it's going to go white and it's going to go lighter. The zinc white is more what people call a blending white, and it won't change the color. You can barely see the white, but it goes lighter.
So you don't
okay?
need the titanium?
It depends on what you're trying to do. If you've got a child's face or a face that's lit like this a good bit, you just about have to have the titanium white to hold it, the structure of the white, okay? The zinc white is so opaque, so transparent, so translucent, that it just dissolves. And if you use too much of it, you're not accomplishing anything. If you just keep adding white to it. So it's a mix there, trying to figure out what you actually need. If you've got somebody who has a darker, more olive skin, the less white you put in there, the better. The more white you put, the cloudier it's going to be. So you have to get the color white right without so much white. Okay? So it's just, you just have to figure out what, every situation's different. But zinc white is very transparent and usually a blending white so that you can blend.
So what do you use then? You've got
For 20 years that yes, I do. For 20 years I used titanium white and didn't even think about using a blending agent. Because if I didn't want it to blend so much, I just didn't put so much white in it. I just put a smidgen. If you're heavy-handed and you just go over there and you just get a blob of white, then, you know, a blending zinc white might be better for you. It's what you really get used to using and how you control it once you get it. You know, it's the same thing about pressure. If you're over here, and if I push this down like that and I cover up the line that I just put in there, you know, it's the pressure. But if I just go like that and touch around it, then I'm not getting rid of the line. So it's a game. It's a back and forth trying to figure out what you can control better. It's just like people who go and buy 5 different reds to paint with, or 6 different greens. You know, if you can paint better like that by having a control and not having to mix so much, then that's what you do. I've always just used the basic palette. I can make what I want. When I get ready to change over, like from one day to the next, I don't have to, what colors did I use? I always know this in the palette, this is what I used. If you get 20 colors in there, then how did I mix that? How did I make that? from color theory, you know that if you take red and yellow and blue, you can make any color. So that's what this is, red, yellow, and blue. I just happen to have a lighter blue, the cerulean, and I happen to have a darker yellow. I can make that by mixing this and this together and a dot of that. You know, you can make anything from a very limited palette, and that's what I've always encouraged y'all to do, because you don't have to. If somebody else is making that to your color, you're not learning much about mixing. You can learn a whole lot about what you need to by staying basic like
Sean,
this.
can I ask you this? I was gonna ask you anyway. I've got 2 titanium whites, but I was gonna ask you, why do they look so different?
Different brands.
Because that one is like the,
Okay, that's the best question you could have asked today. If you look at this is Blick. Company made both of them. They're both the same name brand. What happens right here is this costs $25 if you bought it in the store. This one's going to cost $15. This one is called a Series 1, and it has more pure pigment in it. This one is a cheaper grade. I have both of them here, depending on, some people don't like to spend. If you can buy a tube of paint for $10 or $20, most of us go to the $10 one, because everybody's budget minded. But if you want one that's pure and that's going to do more work than this one's going to do, then go ahead and buy the more expensive one, okay? Because this will do the job. This is going to take twice as much white generally to do the same thing. So it's all about the purity of the pigment in it.
And tell them about the example of putting the most expensive on your finger.
We did this, a lady came in and, turquoise, blue, green is the most expensive color you can buy. It's so refined. But you can get, say, a $20 tube and a $40 tube. And she's, why would you want to pay twice as much? So this lady came in, she wanted, and I said, okay, look, take this turquoise blue and rub it in your finger. She rubbed it on there, and I said, okay, well, wipe it off with your paper towel. She said, well, I can't get it off. I can't get it off. I said, okay, well, we'll have to get, a wet wipe. We'll have to get mineral spirits and wipe it off. So we did. And I said, okay, now take this and put it on your hand and pull that together. I said, okay, now wipe it off. And it came off. No problem. It was off in just a second. That's the difference. You pay for pure pigment over here with the money, and over here you get all those fillers, and the fillers are just substitutions. Makes you have the same amount of paint in the tube, but it won't go as far. And if you just put it on here, you're going to have to work twice as hard to get a cheaper color on there. That's why. Okay? That's a great question.
I have one that's not that good. I just realized you were using cerulean blue for your shadow color rather than ultramarine. Is that correct?
I do use, depending on what I need to do, if it's a really dark color, like up underneath the neck or somewhere, I may go into the ultramarine blue, but most of the time it works with the cerulean.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about the teeth a little bit. We went around and sort of skipped that a little bit, but if you've got teeth, and a lot of us did in ours, if you'll just take, if your teeth got yellowy looking, remember yesterday, just as a review, that we actually took and we drew a line that showed the separation with a shadow color, and then I asked you to blend the shadow color into the teeth so it didn't look like you had lines, like railroad tracks, drawn in the middle. So now you need to clarify that a little bit. Just take the clean brush with white, and if you need to lighten your teeth just a little bit, just pull them like pearly little whites, just like right there in the middle. That way you've got a highlight that's sort of on there, and you still got your shadows, you still have a definition, and you can just, lighten them up as much as you need to. Now, if they're not white teeth anyway, you don't want to make them look white, because that's not what the person is, then go ahead and blue it up a little bit. Use that cerulean blue, make a color that's sort of gray.
Dark umber.
Okay. If you need burn number, that would be a good place to use it. Burn number's not, the teeth aren't flesh, so if you needed a place, and y'all, especially the teeth that are further back, too light teeth, and then these teeth, they just really need to get darker anyway, a little bit darker, a little bit darker, a little bit darker over here. So, but it's smidgens. It's not just like, today you're not reforming your picture from yesterday. You're tweaking it, okay? You're highlighting it. You're making it work, but you're not rebuilding the whole thing. You're not tearing down the house and starting over, okay? You're just putting the finishing touches on there. We didn't talk about hair yesterday. We're gonna take a minute to do that, and we're gonna let you start painting. But some people are ready for hair towards the end of the day. I think maybe let's do that after lunch. I'll say one thing about this right now, in the sense, since I started the conversation, I'm gonna take and lay down the foundation for the hair in case some people get ready. In case some people get ready, okay? Like in here, his is a gray tone, so I'm gonna start my foundation right here with a gray, and then we'll build up lights and darks. So if you've got a blonde head child and you get through, you're ready for it, go ahead and lay down the foundation. What we're gonna actually do after that, his hair is, say, salt and pepper with black. I'm gonna take and lay that in here. Every stroke that you pull in the hair is gonna be like that. It doesn't have to take all day, and you're not putting in 1,000 hairs. You can if you want to, but it's not necessary. But get the darks where the dark goes, and get the lights where the lights go, and the medium. If you just watch where it happens. But the main thing that y'all are gonna come into when you get started is that you've gotta have, which we made sure everybody did yesterday, and I'm just gonna pull some up here. You've got to have that skin, you've got to have that flesh up underneath where that hair is going to go before you start. So make sure it goes even further up than what it should actually be, so you don't have to worry about it. And then you'll lay it on top of it. Now, just to show you an example of one that's finished like this, when you look at it, what's going to happen is you want the hair to be growing out of the scalp. So what it's going to do is, if you put all that dark up underneath there first, salt and pepper is pretty easy to do because you get all the dark up underneath there and you just pull the light on top of it. But if you've got a transition that's just a blonde or just a brown, it's just more subtle. Now you can get it as defined as you can possibly imagine, or you can do it more impressionistic like this one's done, which is a beautiful, beautiful way to do it. Your hair doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to draw or paint every little hair, but a couple little brush strokes really make it. And see how you can do it in blonde, and then you can also do it more in the brown. So,
So what color did she put down?
this is burnt sienna and yellow ochre.
Okay.
It is burnt sienna. Burnt sienna, you can use it all day long, just don't try to mix it in with everything else to make your flesh. So burnt sienna and yellow ochre. If you've got a child that's more blonde, you may use a lot more cad yellow in it than you would think. Don't put white in it until you need it white, because it changes everything. All right, so let's everybody go look at your picture, and let's see where we're going to start.